People are disappointed sometimes because the spirit guide doesn't look like how they thought a spirit guide should look, right? One time we had a little kid and they were like, what? My spirit guide's a kid? One time we had an Asian guy, his name was Kevin, and they're like, why is my spirit guide's name Kevin? Like, I'm like, did you think it was going to be Jesus or Thor or Gandalf? Like, and they're like, well, it can't be Gandalf. I'm like, what? Why not? Why can't that be a representation of what this guide feels like? Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, Sheetal Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Sheetal Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. My spirit guide is broken. It is not. Today's episode has been inspired by an Intuition 101 student who had mentioned this. Actually, this is a few classes ago, that I think my spirit guide's broken because they didn't feel like they could hear their spirit guide, or they were trying to, have an experience, or they thought they wanted to have an experience and they weren't having that experience. So the mind took over, and then either I'm broken or the spirit guide's broken. So, they chose the spirit guide, which, yay. So the fact of the matter is nothing's broken. Nothing is broken. You have a team supporting you on the other side. And I think it's one of the best kept secrets of spirituality. And, that religion doesn't really quite convey, other than sending your prayers up to God, right? But there's actually a whole team of spirit on the other side that are supporting you. And they're more than just your ancestors and your loved ones in spirit, although those are super important as well. We have spirit guides that are here, that have been assigned to us in our lifetime, and one main guide that's been assigned to you in many lifetimes. And if you don't believe that you have many lifetimes, keep on listening to this podcast, because I'm going to talk about reincarnation and many lives that we have as a spirit person. You can't master your life, your soul's evolution in one lifetime. It takes many, many lifetimes. You have so many facets to your soul that it's not just one and done. You will have many times to try again. So, hey, this is great. You get many lifetimes, and this lifetime matters too. Right? You will never again look like this, feel like this, have these lineage, history and experiences, these beliefs, the way that you're genetically made up. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, once in a lifetime's opportunity to be in this body, in this lifetime, connected to these people in these ways, in these stories. You will not be recreated again exactly as you are. It'll be recreated in different themes, in maybe different countries, and maybe different bodies, but this is the only time you're going to look like, feel like this, have this identity, be around people who have these identities, have glimmers in your lives, which are people who are supporting you, and shadows, people who are here to also help you with life lessons, learning them, being the life lesson, as you are someone's life lesson too. I hate to break it to you. I know you're a good person. I know you try your hardest, but sometimes we are the villain in someone else's story, and that's just the way of it, right? It's whether it's projected, whether we've inadvertently done something, or whether we've advertently done something. Is that a word? I just made that up. I don't know. But you have so much support, and it's more support than you even think that you do. So, if you're like me, someone who is hyper independent, you likely grew up in a home where you were the person who looked after everyone's needs. And it's not through any fault of, my parents. My parents are great parents. They worked their hardest. My dad was always at work. My mom was working a job and putting herself through school. So I looked after my brother, right? And it's interesting because even at a young age, I think from the age of 3, I asked my parents for a baby brother. I knew I wanted to have a sibling. And they tried. This is before the time of IVF. And 5 years after I was born, I got a baby brother. It was like the best thing ever. It was like my gift. He became my dolly. And I raised him. My parents were so busy. I wanted to look after him. I wanted to. So it wasn't pushed on me. And in that as well, when we started going to school, I was a very responsible girl because my parents gave me responsibilities, and I was entrusted with looking after my brother. And so we were latchkey kids, right? I'd come home, make my brother a snack, we'd do homework, I'd play with him. Sometimes if my mom had to, she'd come home, we'd have a quick dinner, and then she'd have to go off to school. So then I would bath my brother, put him to bed, and we had, it was us. So I was responsible. I was the emergency, and you can't call anybody because even as a kid, you realize if I call somebody, someone might come and find us out or think that I'm not capable or take us away from our parents. I mean, there's all the stories, right? Whether any of them are true or not are really, to be debated. But in those moments, they created a very independent child. And you might think back to your childhood and think about what did your life as a youngster create for you? Whether you're the oldest or the youngest in the family, whether it doesn't matter. You could be the oldest and look after family. You could be the youngest and look after family. But if you surpassed or suppressed, the word I'm looking for, suppressed, your own emotions and needs to look after your family, whether you wanted to or not, you became hyper independent. You became the person that then your friends came to, that people trusted you. You were very responsible. You were hardworking. You are the pillar in your family, right? And I track those in because I am that person in my life, in my family, and with my friends. So, and I have friends that are pillars in their family as well because I track that, which I am. So we're all hyper independent. And if you're hyper independent, then asking for support feels icky. It feels really icky, right? It's just you oh, I in my culture, whatever the story is for you. So whether it's you don't trust people, people disappoint you, you now owe people, whatever that story is, it was created from your childhood. So for me, in our culture, we have a really beautiful, I'm East Indian. My culture is very beautiful. There's a lot of reciprocity. That's the word I'm looking for. Reciprocity. So if someone invites you over for dinner, you're expected to then invite them over for dinner. If someone gives you a gift, then you're expected to then reciprocate that gift at some point down the road, but to the same or similar dollar value. So there's a lot of this sort of even to the point where if you take home food or someone gives you food in their Tupperware, when you return the Tupperware, you must give them food back in the Tupperware. I was explaining this to someone in my life, a friend, and she's like, that's really beautiful. And I said, it didn't code that way for me. It coded for me that I owe people, right? People just can't give to me and I just can't receive and then give back. I have to then give. Don't be selfish, right? Don't be selfish and don't say yes when someone gives you something right away. You have to say no, no, no. And then they push it on you and you're like, oh, okay, okay, okay. Right. And that's the Indian accent coming out. So there was you can probably discern, I coded as a child that I don't want to owe anybody anything. And I don't want to say yes, but I have to say yes. Guess how that shows up as a good girl? Hey, that I'm a people pleaser. I'll say yes, even though I don't want to say yes, because or I'll say no until someone pushes. Like it's so convoluted, to me. Whereas, to my parents, they grew up in a culture and that's just the way it is in India and Malaysia. And I'm like, I don't get it. Why can't we just be who we are? Why can't I just say, yes, I want that, or no, I don't want that? And you don't have to put it on my plate, insisting that I eat it, right? It's just part of the culture, right? Humbleness is built in, And I am not brought up that way because I was born in Canada. I was raised amongst Canadians. And so we just say what we want and we say yes to the things we want, we know that we don't want. And that's rude in my culture. So it's been really interesting, now having children of my own to then as they interact with my parents, if they don't want something or they're full, they'll say no. And I've encouraged that. And my parents can sometimes get upset by that because it feels rude, or they've went all this out of this way to make something for them. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you so much for trying so hard to please my kids. And sometimes kids are just not pleasable, like that's not your job. Your job is to just be happy. If you did it from your heart, then great. Thank you so much. So all this to say that these patterns can actually transition with us in all walks of life into everything we do. And this came out in an Intuition 101 class recently. So we had a spirit guide module. So spirit guides are with us through our whole lifetime. You have one main spirit guide that's been assigned to you for every lifetime. They know you inside out. They help you to build your track, your life lessons that you want to come here and experience. But remember, you have free will. So you have free will to say, yes, I want to date that person, or no, I don't want to take that job opportunity, or no, I'm not going to start my own business, even though it's calling you and calling you and calling you. Eventually, what will happen is the call will become so loud that you can't say no anymore, right? You can't deny your soul. And if you try to deny your soul, guess what? You get depression, you get disease, you get pain in your body, you get issues in your life that things just aren't working out. And you got to go back and look, where did you not say yes? What are you resisting? Probably you've heard, what you resist persists. So we have these spirit guides that are here to help us, to give us little clues that you're on the right track. They're here to support you. But what can happen is you are disconnected, right? You're not listening. You don't even know that you have this support. It's so beautiful. You have the support. You could call in guides at any time. Y'all, I call in my guides to help me with parking. Parking, right? To get rock star parking. I'll ask spirit to show me where is a spot. Please show me a really good spot for me. And I'll go to that part of the parking lot, and that spot will be open. Like, what are the chances? It's to the point where even when we go to the movie theater and it's super packed, my husband will turn to me and go, okay, where are we going to find a parking spot? And I'll ask spirit, show us a good parking spot. And I'll go, okay, go over there. I'll have a kind of a knowing of where we need to go in the parking lot, and we will get a parking spot there. It's wild. It's wild, y'all. You can call in support for joy. You can call in support for lessening your workload. You can call in support for grieving to help. You can help someone who's transitioning into spirit. You can call in spirit guides to help with the transition. There will be support afforded to you if you ask. Where you feel disconnected is where you're not hearing anything back, right? You're feeling like you're not getting any support. You're not getting what you want, right? In terms of you're not listening, you're not able to hear them, you're not able to feel them, see them, or you're getting something that's the opposite of what you asked for. And I kind of laugh at that because you're always getting the lesson that you need. So if you're not getting what you're asking for, then the question to ask yourself is, what am I not learning? What is this meant to teach me that I haven't been learning? So oftentimes we can feel disconnected from our spirit guides, but even before the disconnected, we can also project our patterns into spirit. And I saw this time. I was kind of like confounded because she said, "Well, I don't want to impose on spirit. They're probably really busy." And I went, "What do you think they're doing instead of helping you?" Like, I was like, what else are they doing? I mean, yes, number one, they're energy, so they can do more than one thing at one time, right? They are multifaceted beings that are not confounded. The word is confined to time and space, so they can be with more than one person at a time. And that's their job, is to guide, to support. They know being in the human is hard. It's hard. You're not here to do this by yourself. But that is the mind telling you that because you grew up that way. So the mind projected then again to this beautiful participant in Intuition 101 that if she asks for help, they're too busy. You're taking them away from something else. So I asked her the question, where did you learn that? Where did you learn that your asks are too much? That you burden people with your asks? And tears started to flow. So interesting. These are divine loving beings in spirit guides. They're here to support you, but they can't just come in and fix your problems for you. Like, you have free will. You're here to do things by yourself. for yourself, for your own spirit's evolution. Could you imagine if everything is done for you? So if your parents tied your shoes for you and did your quizzes for you and did everything that was hard for you, what would you learn? Nothing. Nothing. So spirit cannot come in and take over your life lessons, but they can support you. They can show you encouragement. They can give you guidance, along the way. They can't tell you what to do, but obviously you know what to do. Your own spirit is so brilliant. It's always leading you where you're supposed to go. But the mind gets in the way, doesn't it? The mind says, "No. Who are you to ask for help? Who are you to leave this job with all these credentials? You went to school for, you went your degree to go start a startup? Who are you to go traveling when now you're supposed to be settling down and figuring out what your career is? Who are you to leave your husband after everything he's done for you, even though you're not happy?" Like, all of these mind things come in, and it's overriding the true joy in your heart. Now, it's not to say that you like just follow your heart and, screw the mind. Like, the mind is here to keep you safe. It does have a function that is important. So we have these mundane things that we deal with on a human level, right? I know I want to move forward in this direction, but I want to do it perfectly. Oh, the perfect that comes in perfectionism, right? Especially now with the Virgo North Node, we are releasing perfectionism, analysis paralysis, trying to have all the details sorted out before you make your move. You need to have safety figured out. Especially if money's on the line or where you're going to live or your career and that's giving you money. Like, we want to make sure that that basic needs in Maslow's hierarchy of needs is set up. You have a nice little nest egg and you can then go out and try this startup. I have a wonderful client who did this. She had saved and saved and saved and saved and then went after her dream of opening her own business, her own brick and mortar. And everyone told her she was crazy. And I was like, no, this is amazing. This is what the world needs. I see you running this, not only this, but multiple locations and in multiple countries. Like, this is so needed in the world. And I'm excited for your vision. I see it. I see it in your soul. I see how this is going to heal you. And she went for it. She went for it. And now she is doing so much better than she thought she was going to even. She's blowing her budgeted numbers out of the water. She's become a pillar in the community. There are people she's changing lives, all because she followed her spirit. And it made no sense to anyone else. But she kept getting all these signs from the universe. Go, this is for you. Go. And then she met me and I was like, girl, yeah. She's like, "Can you be my coach?" I was like, "Oh my God, yes. This is to help you in this movement. I feel so honored." Right? She is so brilliant and she's doing it because she listened to her heart and she created safety. Was she burning through her nest egg? Yeah. But we knew as soon as it opened, there would be money coming in. We knew that this was going to pay off. There was a break point where if it wasn't paying off, then she could pull the cord if she wanted to. So we built safety into the plan too, you know? So all along, even though she took these, really difficult, made these choices that nobody else understood in her life, she had support. So there's a few reasons why you can feel disconnected from your spirit team, right? Why you feel like your spirit guide is broken, right? You're in an emotional fog. Grief disconnects you from intuition, from higher realms and frequencies. You can feel like you are heavy, right? Those emotions are heavy. And I don't want in any part of this for you to hear that these emotions are bad, that you shouldn't feel them, that they are not they are all part of the human experience. You came here to experience all of them. And they're guidance, right? The emotions that you feel are guidance, whether you're on track or off track. That's it. Your soul is in high frequency. It is love incarnate. You are a piece of the divine in human form. And when you are off track with that divinity, you feel sad, you feel jealous, you feel angry, you feel betrayed, you feel depressed, right? All of those things you are off the track. You're not listening to your heart-centered self. So You can be in an energetic fog. That's why you can't hear it. Your vibration is too low to feel that feeling, but you'll still see things. You'll still see butterflies. You'll still see dragonflies. You'll still see rainbows and hearts and 111 and 222. These are all signs and symbols from spirit letting you know you are on track. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, when I am off track, I see no numbers. I see no signs. I see nothing. I was like, "Oh, all right. I'm in a little bit of a funk right now, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm finding my way back to my frequency by embodying joy." And that's when you find your way back. You're not listening to what they already told you. Right? Another reason why you're feeling disconnected from your spirit guides. They keep giving you the signs. How many signier signs you need, girl? Like, go, get on with it. You're wasting time. You know what you need to do. I need another sign. Should I start a podcast? Oh my God, I got all these signs. So when you're starting a podcast, I don't know. Is it really for me? Yeah. You're like, okay, take it easy. Like, what is really holding you back? That's when you need the mindset work. That's when you need to work with a coach or a grief counselor to move those blocks out of the way because you're getting all the green lights from the universe. You've outgrown your current level of communication. Now, this is an interesting one because you think that you need signs and symbols, but you're actually already in the knowing that this is where you're supposed to go. And this one's a bit of a stranger one because it's not one that everyone kind of experiences. But I think when you're on the track for psychic mediumship or higher spiritual evolution, you not necessarily to be a psychic medium, but even if you're a healer or someone that's deeply intuitive, you don't need all of those anymore. Like you just know when's the right time to go. You just know what you need to do. And if you're not going to do it, it's not like the sign, the universe is going to be like, come on, you can do it. Like I almost think that sometimes your spirit guides are like, oh, for goodness sake, just do the thing. Like it's not there's sometimes I get impatient too. It's just because you're love and light doesn't mean you're like you don't get frustrated. Of course you get frustrated. I do not envy guides. I've met many, many people on this journey that I'm like, why aren't you just trusting yourself? You know what? I know so many talented spiritual people, and it pains me well, I should say it used to pain me because I used to be too invested in it. And actually, part of coaching is to be detached. So I've detached from many of those beautiful humans with love and light to just say, you know what? If your path brings you back to me, then you know you're ready. But unfortunately, at this point, you're not ready. You just want to sit in the healing. I'm healing. I'm healing. I'm healing. Great. You know what? Healing is actually can be an excuse to not move forward in your life, right? Just like busyness, doing your laundry when you should be doing your taxes. Like it's just another distraction or a level of coping without actually moving forward in your life. And there's a place for healing for sure, but there's also a place for joy and for trying things out, even in uncertainty. Courage is required. So your spirit guides might be like, all right, you know what to do. And now the universe is going to start to rocks, throw rocks at you. And these are the form of things aren't going well, right? I'll use the example of a client that came to see me for a tarot reading many years ago. And in her tarot reading, it showed that she was about to lose her job. And she's like, no, Sheetal, I've been here for 7, 8 years now. They're not going to fire me. I said, you are being moved out. I can feel it so strongly. It's coming in your cards. Okay, if I'm full of crap, fine. I'm full of crap. But, friend headhunters on LinkedIn, update your resume, get your 3 references together, start looking at jobs that you would really want instead of this one. She's like, I don't want another job. I said, you're going to need another job. So just look, just play with me and just see if you can figure out if you could do anything, what would you do? And she's like, I would be a personal trainer. And I said, why don't you do that then? She was a sales rep in the food industry. And she said, well, I can't make as much money doing personal training. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If you look around at all of these personal trainers that are killing it in Hollywood or high-end trainers here, even, in the cities that you live in, you're telling me they don't make 6-figure salaries. She's like, well, like, I don't know how to. I said, that's a different story. You don't know how to, but there is a way, right? You understand. And she's like, well, yeah, I'm not going to lose my job, Sheetal. It's fine. I said, okay, if I'm right, here are some of the flags that you will be feeling that you are off the beaten path, that you are not listening anymore. These are the boulders, these are rocks, right? So you got a new boss and you don't like him. She's like, how did you know? And I said, they changed your commission structure and they clawed back money. So you're actually making less now. She's like, yeah. I said, they changed the mileage as well. I knew that because I knew the company where she worked at. And I knew I had a friend that worked there. And I said, they've changed the mileage. So you make less money on all the driving that you have to do. She's like, yeah. I said, and then your accounts also changed. So you don't have as lucrative accounts. She goes, seriously, Sheetal, how do you know all this? I said, because this is the universe telling you you are off track. You are not meant to be here. It's one red flag after another. This is off, you are off the path, girl. Didn't believe me, right? Those are the boulders. The biggest boulder came 6 months later when she got a layoff notice that she was being right sized out of the building. And she was bitter, bitter, because inside her identity was so connected to this job. 8 years, right? So many of her friends, she stopped talking to all the friends. She went into hiding. She never contacted me again. And rightfully so. She's not ready. She's not ready for Sheetal. Let's be honest. But this is the boulders that I'm telling you. Your spirit guides will tell you you're off track, you're off track. You're not listening to that. Her mind was so loud as I need the paycheck. So then the boulders started to come bigger and bigger and big. Finally, the boulder that took her right out of that job. And then she went into another sales job. She never did go into working out. I mean, she might be now. That was a number of years ago, but it's unfortunate. Like she just never felt that her dream and her passion was lucrative enough for her to build something on it. Even on the side, right? Even having a side hustle and then allowing that to build over time. She just didn't. So I'm here to tell you, if you have a dream in your heart, it's meant for it to come out. And just because you can't see a way to make it come out lucratively doesn't mean that that path doesn't exist. It's one of my gifts. It's actually in my human design that I have all the gate of ideas. It's an amazing opportunity for me that you tell me what you do and I can help you build a successful business plan around it. Guaranteed. It's wild. So there's also a myth that I wanted to talk about in with regards to constant guidance, right? I'm constantly asking for guidance. I'm pulling cards, I'm seeking my pendulum, I'm going to readers. I actually have a rule that you can't see me within 6 months of your last reading because I don't want to be your crutch, right? I am not part of your life lessons. Hopefully not. But I'm not part of your karmic cycles in that way. I can be a support for you in terms of counseling and coaching and helping you to heal those patterns that are keeping you stuck. But coming to me for readings all the time isn't actually helping you. What you're needing is to do the thing. And that's requiring therapy. It requires help that is beyond a reading. So, this is time where if you're asking for constant support, then the guides will pause. Will pause because it's now time for you to trust your sovereignty, to trust your own intuition, create space for integration, and wait. They're waiting for you to take aligned action. So sometimes radio silence can be because you've just asked and asked and asked and asked and asked, and finally they're like, go, go do the thing. When you do the thing, we will send you a little kudos, right? We will send you flowers. We will send you 1111s or 3 3 3 3s, whatever it is, right? 3 3 3s. Yeah. Yeah, because there's no such thing as 3 3 3 3s, right? So they're waiting for you to take aligned action. So how do you reconnect with your spirit guides? Grounding your energy, clearing your emotional channel, asking better, more aligned questions, doing a spirit guide meditation. If you're in my MIA Academy, we've done spirit guide meditations. There's meditations in the vault. If you take an Intuition 101 with me, there's a spirit guide meditation in your Intuition 101 class. You got to go back to that Facebook group and find it. And you can search them up on the web as well and do one too. So, being open to nonverbal communication and also being open to it looking different than what you think. So oftentimes in my intuition 101 classes, people are disappointed sometimes because the spirit guide doesn't look like how they thought a spirit guide should look, right? One time we had a little kid, and they were like, "What? My spirit guide's a kid?" One time we had an Asian guy, his name was Kevin, and they're like, why is my spirit guide's name Kevin? Like, I'm like, did you think it was going to be Jesus or Thor or Gandalf? Like, or then that's happened too, where we had in my last Intuition 101 class, uh, Gandalf. And they're like, well, it can't be Gandalf. I'm like, what? Why not? Why can't that be a representation of what this guide feels like? Because remember, the world of energy is speechless. There is no words. There is no even sounds. It's energy. So when we're trying to convey what energy feels like, our mind needs to put it into words. So we then make it into a vibration or sound. So can it be Jesus? Could it be Gandalf? Could it be the Virgin Mary? Why not? Why couldn't it be them? You think your mind is making it up? What if your mind's making up this whole thing? What if this is the matrix that we live in and none of this is real? Newsflash, none of it is real. Like you're gonna take your last breath and you're gonna step out of this play back into the world of energy. You're just wearing this meat suit as part of your character in this lifetime. So when you know that you are so divinely supported, you are here to do great things, to have experiences in your life. Your sole purpose could be as much as just enjoying life and understanding the full realm of your gifts. I don't think you can in one lifetime understand the full realm of your gifts. You've been given so much potential that you would have to live multiple lifetimes to actually experience all of it. So, call in your guides today. Call in support. If you've been calling in a lot of support, then you know what to do. Go do the thing. Take aligned action. Trust your sovereignty. It's time to integrate. And if you've never called on your spirit guides, now's the time. And here's some really great ways to call in your spirit guides. Parking guides, as I talked to you about. I love my parking guides. Try to find me a good spot, right? Joy guides, bring in more joy for me. You know what? When I have a huge to do list, I call in guides to get my list done. Call in the universe to help me knock things off of my to do list for me before I even get there. And the universe can work through your husband, your friends, your kids, other ways that they're influencing people to say, oh, you know what? I decided to do the dishes while you're at your class because I just thought it might be something nice. And you're like, wow, thanks, universe. And your husband's like, what are you talking about? I did it. And you're like, oh, yeah, yeah, thank you too. Right. What influenced him? Why today that he did the dishes and never does them before, right? This is the magic of the universe. And whether you sent it inadvertently a thought bullet that your husband picked up on that you needed some support and he did the dishes, fantastic. Right? Or you were getting really busy and getting behind, and all of a sudden your significant other calls and says, hey, I've got off work early today. I'm gonna go pick up our kid so you can have a nap. That's actually happened to me. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Right? It's just these ways that when we're calling in support, it can come into you in ways that you don't expect it. And that's okay. That means that something's working, whether it's the universe, whether it's your person, whether the people in your life picked up on that, you get to be supported. And if I'm going back to the trauma of being individual, hyper individual, it's a response in your life to not feeling supported or not being able to call in support because there's no one there to support you. So this is a really beautiful way to heal. And don't worry about calling on them and interrupting them. You're not waking them up from a nap. They're energy beings, right? They want to support you, but they can't come in unless you call them in because you are sovereign. You are here to experience life. You have free will and they cannot impose on your free will. They can only support you when you call them in. So today, I'm going to task you with some homework. I want you to call in your spirit guides to help you with a monumental task that monumental or small, something, if you're rushing to get to your kid's school, ask spirit to turn all the lights green and get you to school in time or bend time. Ooh, I should do a whole podcast on bending time. That's super fun. So we live in an energetic world. Your problem is you think you live in a physical world and you don't. You live in an energetic world. You can manipulate energy. You are so powerful. You can manifest. You can make energy do things for you. You've just forgotten how magical you are. Wishing you a magical rest of the week wherever you are. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.sheetalstory.com and follow us on Instagram at sheetalstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Sheetal Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legalese that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Sheetal Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.